Today, I have two books for you, and they are about a creature called Moomin. Now, I want you to listen really carefully and see if you can tell what Moomin is. Now, these books are from a country called Norway, and Norway has a lot of mountains and islands and fjords, which is where the mountains come right down into the ocean, and it's a beautiful country. But see if you can think of other things that Norway might have by what's in the books. Moomin and the Moonlight Adventure by Tove Jansson. Now, these stories were originally written in a different language called, I believe they were in Norwegian, and they've been translated. So some of the things might be a little funny sounding. And this might look like a hippo, but it's not. See if you can tell what it is by the end of the story. The rain had fallen for days in Moomin Valley, but now at last the clouds had cleared and the sun shone down on the Moomin house. Moomin Troll woke up. He rubbed his eyes and he thought a bit. "We're going to sail to Lonely Island," he announced at breakfast. "We should go in search of treasure." "Oh, yes," said Snork Maiden. "I love treasure. I wonder, what should I wear?" "An adventure! What a good idea," said Moomin Mama. "Will we take a picnic?" "Why not?" said Moomin Papa. "I'd love to do some fishing. I'll get my gear together." Moomin Troll followed Moomin Papa out to the shed. "Should we take this fishing rod?" said Moomin, "or this one?" "Both, I think," said Papa. "Now, which hat? If there's a storm, I'll need my sou'wester. On the other hand, I'll definitely need my admiral's hat. Oh, and I can't leave my top hat behind." Moomin Troll went to find Moomin Mama. She and Little Mai were busy picking berries. "Papa and I are all ready for the adventure," said Moomin Troll excitedly. "Oh, are you going to make berry pie?" "If you like, dear," said Moomin Mama. "And I'll make juice," added Little Mai. "Lots." "Yummy," said Moomin. "I'll go and see if Snork Maiden is ready." And off he went. Snork Maiden was surrounded by dresses and bathing suits and parasols. "This one, or this one, or this one?" she asked Moomin Troll. "They all look lovely," said Moomin Troll, "but I like the pink one best." "Oh, not the blue?" said Snork Maiden doubtfully. Hours later, everyone was ready, and the boat was piled high with provisions and things that they might need. "Ah, at last," shouted Moomin Troll. "We're off to look for treasure," cried Snork Maiden. "Oh, but the sun's gone down," said Little Mai. "So it has," said Moomin Mama. "Never mind, we'll have a moonlight adventure." Everybody cheered. And so, by the light of the moon, they sailed away to Lonely Island. There was a sense of excitement as the moon shone down on the little boat. Snork Maiden looked dreamily down into the water. "Moomin Troll," she shouted suddenly. "Look, there's treasure right below us." She dipped her hand into the water, but the treasure slipped away. "You are silly," said Little Mai. "That isn't treasure. It's just the reflection of the moon." "It is treasure, real treasure," said Snork Maiden. "Isn't it, Moomin Troll?" "Well, there's only one way to find out," said Moomin. And before anyone could stop him, he dived down into the sea. Down, down, down he swam until he reached the bottom. In the boat, everyone waited anxiously. Snork Maiden felt awful. She really wanted the treasure, but she also wanted Moomin Troll back, safe and sound. But then, suddenly, there he was at the side of the boat. There was treasure, said Moomin Troll, and the moon showed me where to find it. He handed Snork Maiden a beautiful shell with a pearl the color of the moon nestled inside. By the time they reached the island, everyone was still talking about Moomin's big adventure. You must be hungry, my little Moomin Troll, said Moomin Mama. I think it's time for a moonlight picnic. So they all sat around the campfire, laughing and singing and listening to Moomin Papa's tales of his exploits at sea. And then the stars started to fade, and it was time to get some rest. Snork Maiden leaned her head on Moomin Troll's shoulder. Thank you for fetching the treasure for me, she said sleepily. You were very brave. I'll find you even more tomorrow, said Moomin proudly, because I think it may be another fine day for an adventure. And with that, they fell fast asleep. This is another book about Moomin. Moomin and the Wishing Star by Tove Jansson. Summer was drifting lazily towards fall in Moomin Valley. The days were becoming a little shorter and a little cooler. Moomin Troll had spent the afternoon exploring and had discovered the perfect spot to enjoy the fine weather while it lasted. It was a quiet, sheltered pool near the foot of a mountain. Pee-hoo! sang Moomin contentedly as he bathed. Then something caught his eye. A small white something glistening just below the surface of the water. Maybe right there. Moomin Troll fished the something out. It was a little pebble, perfectly round and perfectly smooth. Moomin turned it over in his hands, gazing at it admiringly. It had a silvery white gleam that seemed almost magical. What a treasure, thought Moomin. Eager to show his friends, Moomin climbed out of the pool, shook himself dry, and hurried back to the Moomin house. Moomin arrived home to find everyone outside on the veranda having dinner. He proudly showed them his pebble. Oh, it's beautiful, said Snork Maiden. Look how it shines like starlight. Her eyes widened with wonder. Imagine if that's what it is, a fallen star. At this, Sniff became so excited he dropped the syrup spoon. If it is a fallen star, he cried, it'll give you a wish, Moomin Troll. The mention of a wish led to great excitement. Snork Maiden clapped her hands, laughing gleefully. I know what I'd wish for, she said. An elegant silver tail ring. Emeralds, cried Sniff, hopping from one foot to the other, or perhaps diamonds. No, a treasure chest filled with gemstones. Moomin Troll stared at his pebble. Could it be a star? If it was, how would he decide on a wish? He gave a little jump as Moomin Mama touched him on the shoulder. Remember that it is your wish, Moomin Troll, she murmured. No one else can tell you what to wish for. Moomin nodded and slipped away to the quiet of his room to give the matter some serious thought. But the more Moomin Troll thought, the harder he found it to choose a wish. Was it wrong to use it for himself? He imagined how delighted Snork Maiden would be with a shiny new tail ring. Or perhaps a rose bush for Mama's garden, thought Moomin. Or bookends for Papa. The night got darker and darker, and Moomin rubbed his eyes. Was it his imagination, or was his pebble getting darker too? If I don't make up my mind soon, its shine will be gone, and the wish too, he worried. So Moomin did as he always did when faced with a difficult problem. He went to visit Snufkin. Moomin found his friends sitting by the campfire, playing a tune on his accordion. He stopped as Moomin Troll approached and spoke kindly. Sit down, old chap, and tell me what's on your mind. Moomin told Snufkin all about finding the pebble, and Snork Maiden and Sniff thinking it was a wishing star, and about how hard it was deciding what to wish for. And now, look, its shine is fading. Do you think the wish will work? Moomin passed the star pebble to Snufkin, who inspected it closely. Well, I'm no expert, he said. Wishes are tricky things, but it does look like it's fading, and I don't think you'll be able to wish on a faded star. As for how to get the shine back, sometimes things just need to be where they belong. You mean I should put it back? Said Moomin. That might help? Snufkin nodded. Yes, and then you can make your wish, he said. Moomin Troll led the way to the little pool where he had found the star pebble. As they drew near, he let out a cry. Snufkin, look! It's full of stars! The water's smooth surface reflected the night sky above. It sparkled with countless tiny twinkling lights. Now, said Snufkin, drop the pebble in and make your wish. Moomin admired his special pebble one last time and then let it drop. Plop! Into the water. The ripples died away and the mirrored stars settled down once more. He gazed into the pool rather sadly. And then his heart leapt as a streak of silver raced across the water. A shooting star, gasped Moomin Troll. They both looked up eagerly. There's another, and another. Oh, Snufkin, he continued without thinking. I wish everyone were here with us to see them. There you are, said Snufkin. That's your wish. Moomin was taken aback. Was it? He asked. I hardly noticed. How will it come true? Oh, it's very tricky to tell with wishes. You'll have to wait and see, said Snufkin. They watched the stars together for some time. At last, tired but happy, they made their way home. At breakfast the next morning, Moomin told everyone to prepare for a secret expedition that night. Oh, Moomin Troll, cried Snork Maiden. Where are we going? Does this have to do with your wish? But Moomin wouldn't say anything. He only smiled. How lovely, dear, said Moomin Mama. I'll make a plum cake. Moomin's tummy felt more and more tingly all day as they packed up a picnic and blankets and waited for the sun to set. Nightfall seemed to take a very long time to come. That night, the whole family gathered by Moomin Troll's pool. Moomin was so excited that he couldn't sit still, and he barely nibbled at his slice of plum cake. But the night got later and later, and no shooting stars appeared. Moomin's tummy felt even more tingly than before. Moomin Mama noticed that his ears were drooping and asked him what was wrong. Oh, Mama, it's my wish. I saw the most amazing shooting stars, and I wish that everyone could see them too. But I must have made the wish wrong, and now it's lost forever, cried Moomin. Moomin Mama stroked his head. Oh, Moomin Troll, my Moomin Troll, don't be upset. Wishes are very tricky things. Maybe it will come true tomorrow night? Just then, a shining star streaked across the sky. Did you see that? Gasped Snork Maiden. Look, there's another one. And another. Look, look, cried Sniff. Moomin clapped his hands with delight before lying back on the ground to gaze at the stars. My wish did come true after all, he whispered. Thank you for using your wish for us, Moomin, said Snork Maiden. I've never seen anything so beautiful. Well done, my Moomin Troll, said Moomin Mama softly, packing up the last of the picnic things. And Moomin felt warm and lucky and very, very happy as together they made their way back to the Moomin house in the pale early morning light. All right, did you like those books? They're a little bit different, aren't they? So, did you guess what Moomin is? Moomin's not a hippo. Moomin is a troll. So in Norway, they have lots of different kinds of trolls, And Moomin is very popular. I think Moomin's kind of a lucky troll, don't you? Because he dove into the water and he found treasure, and the treasure usually has something to do with water. So maybe if we read more books, we'll find out more about Moomin. I hope you had fun with these ones. Another thing is, did you notice that in both of these, they had adventures at night? Now, in Norway, it's very far north on the globe. And so sometimes some parts of Norway have what we call polar day and polar night. In the summer, in polar day, the sun never sets. And Pops and I got to see that. The sun just kind of goes in a circle, but it never goes down. It's light all night long. And then in the winter, the sun never comes up. It's dark all day long. So I think that might be why these trolls have some night adventures, because maybe they live really far north. I hope you had fun with these books. They're a little bit different, but it's good to learn things about different places. Have a great day. I love you.